Luna Ascending by Zaina Wilder. Copyright Zaina Wilder 2024. All rights reserved. Chapter 31. Dirk. I stand back to back with TV, eyes adjusting to the light. There's not enough room to shift here, not easily. Feet pound across the ceiling and I glance towards the stairs. Shit, I was so determined to get in, to get to where the hostages were. I didn't think. I didn't consider the consequences of getting shut off from the pack. The guards surround us, silver knives gleaming in their hands. This is going to get nasty. They feign attacks on both sides at once, testing us, searching for a weakness. My breathing's already ragged, and Tavy's is worse. Something has to give. Soon. Lyle better get that door open. We block the onslaught as best we can, desperately avoiding the silver weapons. I take a kick to the kidney that sends me to my knees, only twisting out the way of the asshole's knife at the last minute. From the ground, I witness the sturdy metal door fly open, bursting off its hinges in a screech of metal and magic. "Sorry, sweetheart, I just couldn't wait to see you again," chirps Freya as the pack swarm in behind her. Thank the moon goddess, I didn't know she had that kind of control. There's no time to think. We're in such close quarters that the slightest wrong move will be fatal. I'm dispatching the nearest guard when I feel TV's focus shift. Looking up, I catch a glimpse of his shirt vanishing down the stairs. Shit, he's not thinking straight. We don't know what's down there, who's down there. TV crashes along a tiny stairwell toward the cellars. My ears ring from the noise of his big frame bouncing off the walls and his shouts for Liz echoing. We barrel into the tiny room at the bottom. The stink of unwashed bodies, blood and despair assaults my nostrils. The pungent aromas down here are almost unbearable to shift our senses. Dirty, scared-looking faces peer at us from behind solid cell doors. This is it. Liz must be here. There are no locks in sight, though. The doors are all electronic. Tavy lurches from one door to another, shouting Liz's name. Like this, he's as much use as a chocolate teapot. He's panicked, distraught. Ignoring my beta best I can, I mind-link Lyle. "Electronic doors, Lyle. Can you unlock them? Quickly!" Almost immediately, Lyle's smugness radiates down our link. He's ridiculously pleased with himself. A loud clank sounds, and I spin, searching out the enemy. It takes a couple of seconds to register that the noise was not an attack. It was the doors opening, the cell doors. Damn, Lyle was fast. The filthy, confused hostages stagger out, blinking in the harsh overhead strip light. Tavy dashes between them, searching, but there's no Liz. We were so sure she would be here. Her scent lingers around the edge of the room. Tavy rages between the hostages, shaking each in turn before slamming his fist into the wall again and again. My beta is coming undone. Over the confused babbling, I hone in on a rhythmic thumping at almost the same time Tavy does. We dive towards a door at the other end of the room. It looks like it should be a broom cupboard, but flinging it open, I'm shocked to a standstill. On the other side is a sterile, surgical theatre suite. Steel countertops glint, sinister metal implements hang on the walls, and a gurney sits in the middle of the room under a bright white light. Cells are built into the wall. They house more hostages. These, though, they're more like fucking vet crates than cells. On the very end, locked inside a tiny cage, is Liz. Tavy grabs one side of the crate front and I take the other. Between the two of us, we heave the door off its hinges. Liz leaps into Tavy's arms with a shriek like a wounded animal. She's covered in bruises and already looks filthy. She sobs, ugly, racking cries that shake her entire body. What the hell have they been doing to her? I force myself to turn away, to push down my anger. Tavy has her. She's safe, and I have to manage the fight, the hostages, the pack. Some of these hostages are so malnourished, I don't see how they're going to be able to make the long trip down the hillside. They stand huddled, holding each other and looking bewildered. There's a whole mix of shifter types, and the odd witch, but they're clutching on to each other, regardless of creed. Shuffling out the cells last comes an emaciated, older-looking woman. A puff of wind could blow her over. Her feet drag like she has barely enough energy to move them. Freya and Angus charge into the cell together, breathless and covered in blood. The hostages pull back, alarmed, clearly unsure if they're friend or foe. The old lady teeters in the crush. I push toward her while eyeing Freya. That blood better not be hers. Freya catches my eye and grins wildly. A wave of relief hits. Freya's gaze, though, drops from my face to the frail witch in my arms, and she gasps. "Auntie Morgan!" "Morgana!" Angus bellows, grabbing her from me so roughly I'm worried he'll hurt her. I look from the witch to Angus to Freya. I'm missing something. I peer confused into the witch's face. Under all that dirt, grime and grief, I see the resemblance to Freya, to Tavy. This frail woman is their mother, Angus's wife. She's alive. After all this time, she's alive. She's wearing another of those collars Liz has on, a dull metal circlet, just big enough to fit around her neck and no more. The skin above her collarbone is rubbed raw, with nasty sores oozing pus down one side. She must have had that thing on for months. Years. Bile rises in my throat, threatening to choke me. I clench my fists, breathing through my nose. I have to distract myself before my anger takes me. I storm upstairs, leaving the hostages to the others. The fight is over. There is no one to take my frustration out on. I slam my hand into the wall. Those that remain alive from the Coven side have been tied up. I eye them. The temptation to end their miserable lives makes my fingers twitch. Cold air blasts through the destroyed door, whirling around the bothy, bringing me thankfully back to earth. Here I can help best by keeping my damn head, by stepping up. I organise the hostages to be carried out by groups of shifters, but my attention keeps creeping back to the captive guards. They huddle together, staring at the floor, wrists shackled. The hostages are helped out, squinting and flinching at everything. These damn guards should be forced to witness the pain and suffering they caused, forced to look. I growl, deep in my throat, and one of the rescued shifters stumbles, falling into a hog-tied guard. He rears back and spits on her. The revulsion on his face is the final straw. I grab him up and dangle him off the ground in front of my nose. Look at what you've done, you disgusting piece of shit. Look at the state of these people. And the old witch, she's nearly dead. And you spit on them. Do not expect my mercy. The guard flails helplessly in the air, clearly terrified, and a small glow of satisfaction rushes through me. I should kill you all, now, I growl, my hand closing tighter on the bastard's windpipe. I watch, weirdly detached, as the guard's face turns red. He flails ever more wildly. His breath comes out in hisses as he fights for air. And I just hold him, feeling a baleful satisfaction as the man stills and his eyes roll. "Put him down!" Freya's voice at my elbow breaks through. "Put him down now! Down! Now! This is not right, Dirk." I glare at her, but drop the man. He lands with a sickening crack on the floor. My boot makes contact with his windpipe again, and I threaten to press harder as he gasps for breath. Why should I stop? I address the guard. You're a mercenary. You kill for money. The guard looks terrified, but daren't move. Instead, he glances wildly around for an escape, for an answer. Let me live. I'll tell you who your traitor is, he rasps out. My rage dies instantly, replaced by a cool, steely calm as I turn, following the man's quivering gaze to stare at my father's gamma. Reynard. I suddenly remember the patrol guard calling him by his name. I'd been so full of adrenaline it hadn't registered. By his name, damn it! A huge growl erupts from me, echoed by all the shifters around. Reynard shifts to his wolf form and runs. By the time the pack gives up chasing Reynard, it's a long haul back to the bothy. It's nearly dawn when we finally load up the rescued shifters, our new hostages and Morgana, and get back to the estate. I knew I hated that man. I could just never put my finger on what it was about him. Fucking traitor. I'm beyond furious he escaped. He must have had some elixir to run that fast. He's never outrun me before in his miserable little life. If I ever meet him again, I swear on the goddess I will kill him, excruciatingly slowly. Something integral in my father has shifted. He's a broken man. Finding his Beta's wife alive when he persuaded Angus to give up on her and learning of Reynard's betrayal has defeated him. He's deflated, half the man he was. He might recover, but for now I step into the role of alpha, and it's dangerously good. I have to stay grounded. I was far too close to losing it with those guards. Killing hog-tied captives isn't exactly something a leader should do. Not the kind of leader I want to be, though goddess knows it would have felt good to destroy them. A thrill of animalistic hate reverberates through me at the thought. I order my sister and Lyle to be tracked down. They're taking far too long to resurface after our rescue mission. The way I caught Lyle staring at my baby sister has me worried. I'm not against interspecies relations. I'm not, but this is my sister, and I know Lyle's history. After congratulating them, I send Aurora skulking back to her room, rolling her eyes like the teenager she is. He has work to do, and she can't afford to fall for him. Not Lyle. Please. I throw a desperate plea to the goddess. Not Lyle. We need him to work his techie magic, quickly. Those metal collars have to come off. Liz can't shift, her cougar cruelly suppressed, and Morgana's magic is blocked. Who the hell knows how long Morgana's been forced to wear that? She won't talk. Can't, maybe. It's imperative Lyle replicates the device's signal. Liz is holding her own, but Morgana's fading. She's been locked off from her powers for so long, she has lost her sense of self. She just stares blankly ahead, not responding to anything, not even acknowledging Angus's presence. The old Beta is inconsolable. He has his love back, and yet he doesn't. I hope Freya's right, and that when Morgana gets the collar off, she'll come back to herself. But whenever I look at her, there's a weird, twisting feeling in my gut. There is something not right with her. She's broken. Angus won't stop fussing her, bathing, dressing, and feeding her like he's more suited to being a mother hen than a wolf, which leaves Tavy as Beta. There's no point in forcing Angus to his job. His mind is completely focused on Morgana, and while I could use Angus's experience, I'd rather have Tavy beside me. I need details on the Coven, and the mercenaries we've captured won't talk. We're going to have to get forceful, brutal, I won't ask anyone else to do that. The mercenaries brought this on themselves. The assholes chose to work for the Coven, and they will talk, whether they intend to or not. I swear on the goddess I will make sure they talk before more harm comes to my pack. The guard I already roughed up. He's a good target. His first-hand experience of how very real my threats are. I stomp through the holding cells until I locate him, and order the shifter guarding his cell to open it. I can smell his fear when he sees me. It rolls off him in waves, even more when I dismiss my guard, telling him not to return, no matter what he hears. My rage slips as the door shuts behind him. I let it loose, fists finding soft targets and bones crunching. A red haze descends. I can't stop, won't stop. I've seen the state of those prisoners. I've heard about the experiments, the torture. This fucker should pay. He will pay. I will make him pay. Only when the man is a begging, bloody mess in the corner do I rein myself in and demand he answers me. Please stop. I'll tell you anything, please. He begs through a mouthful of broken teeth. Please, just ask me the question. My stomach clenches, and I stare at my bloodied knuckles. I haven't even asked a question. What the fuck am I doing? My brain fog slowly clears, and I finally ask the mercenary about the collars. He falls over himself to tell me the solution. The fobs the guards carry are linked to fingerprints. When a mercenary activates their fob, it opens the collars nearest them. I mind-link Lyle, who seems weirdly cautious. I grab my knife from my belt strap and stride towards the mercenary. He won't miss one finger. Not much. And the bastard deserves it. Suddenly there's shouting and crashing outside the cell. The door flies open. Freya descends on me like a whirling dervish. She takes in the bloody cell and the prisoner beaten to a pulp. Lyle told me, she snarls. Lyle told me where you were and what you'd done. I didn't believe him. What were you thinking, Dirk? She pulls my knife from my hand and throws it violently on the floor. This is wrong, Dirk. As Freya berates me for losing control, my wolf growls wildly, fighting to get out, to get at her. He's riled up and ready to attack any threat, including Freya. Even I know this is not how a decent alpha behaves. Her angry words echo around my head, long after she's stormed away. I have no interest in a violent, out-of-control mate, Dirk. None. A weird pressure builds behind my eyes, and my wolf backs off. What am I doing? This is my mate. This is Freya. She deserves better than this. And she's right. This is not how to run my pack. This is not the example I want to set. As the adrenaline fades, I inspect the wreck of a man in the corner. I can't quite believe I let my darkness overtake me like this. I clean myself up and order the pack doctor to tend to the mercenary. I take the mercenary's prints without removing his finger. Guilt washes over me. I was going to permanently mutilate him. For the sake of it, I rush back to the communal area of the pack house, trying to outrun my remorse. With Morgana and Liz in tow, I hunt out Lyle. Of course, Aurora is with him when I finally find them. He has no business around my wee sister. I don't like it. He and I are going to have a little talk later. Lyle quickly works out how to activate the fob. He sets up some coding on his computer, and we're away. As Lyle works, weird waves of energy roll from Morgana, chilling the air. There's no time to pull my jumbled thoughts together, nor to voice my alarm before Lyle enters the final code into his program. A high-pitched beeping emits from the fob. With a loud clunk, The collars fall from Liz and Morgana's necks. Finally, they are free. In an instant, the lights all go out. The uneasiness in the pit of my stomach blossoms into full-on alarm. Shit. Is this Morgana? How broken is she? We don't even know how long she's been captive, or what those bastards have done to her. Torture, starvation, experimentation. Those things can break a soul, fracture a spirit. I don't have the first clue how to deal with a broken witch. Morgana lets out an ear-piercing shriek, and every single bit of glass in the room shatters. The noise of her cries tears through my very soul. It's as if she's feeling all of her suffering for the very first time. The pack house rattles, and I sprint towards Freya. I grab her to me, ignoring her glowering anger. I need to protect her. Shifters around us flee as the foundations of the house start to groan. I use my body to shield Freya, the building rattling around us, like it's about to fall. Out the corner of my eye, I see Angus darting towards his wife. Shit, Morgana has no awareness of where or who she is. She could kill him. I can't get to him and shield Freya. This stupid bastard better know what he's doing. I brace myself for the worst when, as suddenly as it started, the chaos stops. The lights flicker on. In the middle of the floor, surrounded by settling dust, is Angus, cradling an unconscious Morgana. I knocked her out, the older wolf says, his eyes shiny with unshed tears. I hit her. I had to. How will she ever forgive me?